Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt interviewed President Kennedy today in the Family Theater of the White House. Last December, the president appointed Mrs. Roosevelt to lead his Committee on the Status of Women.
Perhaps you'd be willing to tell the people what prompted you to name this committee at this time and what you feel is the real need for it.
Well, we are attempting to try to encourage every company in the United States and certainly stimulate governmental leadership in providing equal pay and equal conditions for women. 22 states do it now. We can do a much better job on that. We want to make sure that the available talent which we have in this country in trained women is being used effectively. I think we want to make sure that some recognition is given to the special problems women have as the mother and the housewife, and at the same time their desires to participate usefully in public and private life. This is a matter of great national concern, and I think that in this great society of ours, we want to be sure that women are used as effectively as they can to provide a better life for our people, in addition to meeting their primary responsibility, which is in the home.
Mr. Kennedy was asked why more women in this country had not been placed in policy-making positions.
Well, I suppose the first is the interruption in their careers that take place in the lives of most women because of their keeping a family and raising children. But I quite agree. I don't think we make the most use of our talent, not only in the government. And there are an awful lot of women that hold very key positions in the government. In fact, the other day when we gave the awards for the 5 outstanding civil servants, 2 of them were women of great technical skill. We have women in the UN delegation, of which you were a distinguished example, but I still think we ought to do better. I think we ought to do better in the field of medicine, for example. I think that the number of girls who are admitted to medical school, the number of practicing doctors, I don't think we do as good a job in this country as we ought to. We do better than a number of other countries, but not nearly as well, considering the talented women that we have, the great need for doctors. I think they do a good job in teaching, but in medicine is one of the great areas where I think we should stimulate. I think women make good doctors. They have the personal qualities and the patience, and I think to have 2 or 3% of each class admitted to be women is a great lack.
Finally, Mrs. Roosevelt asked if American women were using their educations to the best advantage.
Well, I think when you look at Radcliffe College, that the curve of academic excellence at Radcliffe is higher than it is at Harvard, and therefore you assume that this is really the most highly developed student body. What happens to those girls 2 or 3 years later? They get married, many of them become housewives, and all that talent is, it's used in this family life, but is not used outside. Now, of course, it is true that they work on school boards, they work in the League of Women Voters, they work in church groups. In a whole variety of ways, they use this talent for strengthening the cohesion of our society. But I wonder whether they have the full opportunity to develop their talents. And as the Greeks said, the definition of happiness is full use of your powers along lines of excellence. And I wonder whether they have that opportunity. And this is not true just of Radcliffe, but of colleges and educated women, talented women all over the country.